Welcome back to Alex Roots. Today we're exploring something a bit unexpected, the largest yet most empty cities in the US. These cities cover vast amounts of land but have surprisingly low population density. We'll be ranking them based on how many people live per square mile according to the US Census Bureau. For comparison, Phoenix has about 3,100 people per square mile, Dallas 3,800, and Los Angeles a denser 8,200. Miami goes over 12,200, and San Francisco reaches nearly 20,000. On the opposite side of the scale, some places like parts of Iowa have just 2 people per square mile. So today we're diving into cities that make you feel like you've got the whole place to yourself. Let's get started. Anchorage tops the list, and it's no surprise. This city is the heavyweight champion of low population density with a jaw-dropping 170.6 people per square mile. Anchorage sprawls across vast wilderness, and despite its size, it feels like a giant game of hide and seek. The city has a remote, pricey, and freezing vibe, which keeps a lot of people away, but for those who like solitude, it's perfect. Even in the summer, you're more likely to spot a moose wandering through the city than see a crowd of people. It's a city built for those who embrace isolation and the rugged Alaskan lifestyle. And while Anchorage has all the amenities of a major city, from coffee shops to shopping centers, the vast open spaces around it are doing nothing, making it seem even emptier. The entire state of Alaska has a population density of about 1 person per square mile, so if you're looking for some serious social distancing, this is the place for you. Despite its sparse population, Anchorage has a unique charm. Where else can you wake up and see a moose stroll through your front yard? With just over 1,122 people per square mile, Oklahoma City feels like a city built on wide open spaces. The city spans 606 square miles with only about 681,000 residents, making it one of the most spread out cities in the country. To put it in perspective, you could fit Boston, Miami, San Francisco, and Washington, D.C. within Oklahoma City's borders and still have room left over. The sprawl means traffic is virtually non-existent compared to bigger cities like New York or Los Angeles, and parking, no problem. It's like having a whole neighborhood to yourself. However, the slow pace isn't just about space. The city's economy has been growing at a crawl, especially after the oil and gas boom fizzled out. While it's not a ghost town, you'll find more cows than crowds here. Despite the slow growth, Oklahoma City is a place where you can still have elbow room and not feel like you're drowning in a sea of people. Next up is Jacksonville, which with its 874 square miles of land is nearly the size of the entire state of Rhode Island. But despite its massive area, Jacksonville's population density is just 1,270 people per square mile. The city's spread out nature can be deceiving. One minute you're cruising through a quiet residential area, and the next you're stuck in traffic as the entire city seems to have decided to drive at the same time. Jacksonville's density has increased by nearly 10.75% over the past decade, but with so much space to fill, it still feels like there's plenty of room to breathe. It's a city where you can go from bustling downtown areas to quiet stretches of beach in minutes. And speaking of beaches, Jacksonville's coastline offers some of the most serene spots in Florida, perfect for those who like their sun and sand without the crowds. Nashville might be known for its music and tourism, but when you break it down, this city has a population density of just 1,420.32 people per square mile. While it's been growing rapidly, with a 15% population increase between 2010 and 2020, Nashville still feels relatively uncrowded compared to other major cities. Yes, the traffic is getting worse and housing prices are skyrocketing, but you're still far from feeling like you're constantly rubbing elbows with strangers. Tourists flock to Music Row and Broadway, but outside the touristy spots, Nashville has plenty of quiet neighborhoods where you can escape the hustle and bustle. The city's laid-back vibe and growing job market make it attractive to newcomers, even if some locals aren't too thrilled about the changes. Kansas City is known for its barbecue, fountains, and elbow room. With about 1,614 people per square mile, Kansas City offers a mix of urban charm and suburban sprawl. The city's population of around 508,000 people is spread over 315 square miles, and many residents are opting for life in the suburbs, leaving the downtown area feeling a bit sparse. The city has a fascinating history from jazz to prohibition, but today it's known for its relaxed pace of life and open spaces. Kansas City is also home to a number of redeveloping warehouses, turning into trendy lofts, but for now it's a city where you can drive around without much traffic and still find parking wherever you go. Virginia Beach is a popular tourist destination during the summer with millions of visitors packing the beaches. But once the tourists leave, the city's population density drops to just 1,877.53 people per square mile, with around 455,000 permanent residents spread out across the city. It's not exactly a bustling urban center. During the off-season, you can enjoy quiet beach walks without the crowds, and winter in Virginia Beach means you can take in the oceanfront views without bumping into throngs of selfie stick-wielding tourists. The city's laid-back vibe, combined with its low population density, makes it a perfect spot for those who want a balance of beach life and space. Tulsa is another city with plenty of open space. The city's population density is just 2,088 people per square mile, with around 413,000 residents spread across 197.5 square miles. Tulsa is growing, but slowly, and even with initiatives like the Tulsa Remote program, which offers $10,000 to remote workers willing to relocate, the city still feels spacious. Walking through downtown Tulsa during a weekday might feel like you've stumbled onto a movie set before the extras arrive. Empty streets, minimal traffic, and no lines at your favorite coffee shop. Despite this, Tulsa has a thriving art scene and plenty of nightlife, especially in the Blue Dome district, but the city's overall vibe remains laid back. Memphis might be famous for its music history and barbecue, but it's also known for its low population density, sitting at about 2,146 people per square mile. With 633,000 people spread across 295 square miles, Memphis feels spacious, especially in some of its more rundown areas. The city has faced a number of challenges, including rising crime rates and a struggling economy, which have caused many people to move elsewhere in search of better opportunities. Despite its difficulties, Memphis still has its charm, particularly with Beale Street, Graceland, and its rich musical heritage. But overall, Memphis feels more like a place that's trying to find its footing than a bustling metropolis. Tucson is an underrated city with a surprising amount of elbow room. With a population density of just 2,251.44 people per square mile, Tucson's 547,000 residents are spread out over 241 square miles. The city is known for its unique desert landscape and a slower pace of life compared to Phoenix. Despite its wide open spaces, Tucson has a lot going for it. Quirky neighborhoods, a thriving art scene, and a strong connection to its Old West roots. But with all that space comes a feeling of emptiness in certain parts of the city. It's not uncommon to drive for miles without seeing a crowd, and some parts of Tucson feel like they're playing hide and seek with their neighbors. Rounding out the list is New Orleans, a city that can feel crowded during Mardi Gras but otherwise has plenty of space. The city's population density is 2,267 people per square mile, down significantly from its pre-Hurricane Katrina numbers. The population nosedived after Katrina, dropping from 450,000 to 208,000. While the city's population has bounced back somewhat, it's still nowhere near its peak. Today, New Orleans has about 370,000 residents, and outside of the touristy areas like Bourbon Street, the city can feel eerily quiet. Add in a high crime rate, and some locals joke that you could have half the city to yourself outside of festival season. That's today's video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to click on one of the recommended videos. Have a great day, and as always, be kind to each other.